Good morning, cruel world. I just thought I should take a moment to weigh in on the recent atrocities that have befallen me. Um, as I sit back and I think about this season, I really only have one memory, and that is of Pat McAfee, the Colts punter, who has somewhat made a name for himself because he's not only a good punter, but he also celebrates after good punts and sometimes gets tackles. He does other things. Basically, he's a good athlete that punts. Um, Yesterday, the Colts, after they gave the Cowboys their first touchdown for free after a taunting penalty on a failed third and long that renewed the drive at midfield, Colts went out and ran the ball. They did that because they handed it off to Daniel Herron. Um, he finally started, made his first start of the year over Richardson. They finally realized that Trent Richardson is just a small offensive tackle or a shorter tight end with bad hands, if you will, not a running back. So they give it to Daniel Herron, does nothing with it. So what do? They fourth down. Cowboys run over. They don't have anybody even blocking the gunner that's over on the right side running down in punt coverage. So they snap it to McAfee, throws a picture-perfect spiral right to the first down marker, where it inexplicably hits the Colt player in the hands. He drops the ball, and essentially thus ends my season. Luck got a couple more tries. Had to rush one before the half, ended up throwing a pick in the end zone, had a pick off a tipped pass from a defensive lineman, first possession of the second half, and that was it. The Colts came into that game with nothing to play for, and I realized that risk, but I assumed a half a game from Luck was equal to a full game of any of our free agents. Unfortunately, it's much like every year. It just wasn't my year. So I'm down 15. Mitch, you can say what you want about, oh, you still got a shot. Yeah, my kicker's, he's done very well. But I can't go in tonight thinking that I have a chance to win. That's just not likely that he has 4 field goals and an extra point or something absurd like that. So I'm congratulating Norm on a huge championship. Very happy for him. Connor denies the fact that that I could possibly still be happy because we play to win, and I do play to win. But as I've stated many times before, there's other ways to win other than just winning a championship. None of them are as gratifying and satisfying, certainly, and that's the goal. But I told many people in the league prior to the playoffs starting, when I realized I had to play Connor, if I could just have a guaranteed victory over Connor, knock him out of the playoffs, prevent him from worsening our league with his nonsense, I would take that. I would go down second round, no questions asked, no regrets. I'd consider it a successful season. And I did that. I beat Connor in the postseason by a very wide margin. I won in the semifinals by a very wide margin. My team has been clicking on all cylinders. Unfortunately, the Colts ran out of receiver gloves or something, and any incentive to win. And as soon as Luck went out of that game, well, of course, the Cowboys, who are playing Murray, they're not going to have Murray get hurt when Luck's already been benched in that game, and the Colts have already conceded victory. So it was the perfect storm, and it took me down. I'd probably rather lose in that fashion than having Megatron get beat by Tucker, but it's close. They both are unspeakably unimaginable. The odds that I would have lost either of those are clearly well below 5%. So what can you do? I do have one thing, though, that my franchise still has one thing that many of you do not have, and that is the Billy Bean of fantasy sports, if you will, the ultimate GM. So I will come into next year's draft with my $90 or whatever I have left after paying the penalties to appease the league for my purchases, and I'll come in with luck and TY, and I'll bring it once again. So I'll see you next year in the championship. So also let's get that figured out about having a little BTS bowl over Christmas. If you can post your availability, that'd be helpful. Good season, everybody. See you later.